Welcome to the channel and welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's jump straight into it. So let's kick off with the talk of the town at the moment, or the main name being linked heavily with Manchester United is none other than Benjamin Sesko. So let's go through all the latest there. Starting with Sky Sports Germany, who last night said that Benjamin Sesko's camp is in talks with Newcastle. Manchester United cannot yet be ruled out. They are still in the race. So Sky Sports Germany suggesting that Newcastle have already been in talks with Sesko's camp. We'll go through the updates there. But United cannot be ruled out and that we're still in the race for Benjamin Sesko. Nico, who's a good source, said that Benjamin Sesko has an agreement in principle with Newcastle for a contract until 2030. Newcastle are now working to reach a deal with RB Leipzig. However, that's not been confirmed yet by Fabrizio Romano or anyone of that nature, suggesting that Newcastle have agreed a contract with Sesko and that they're starting to negotiate with RB Leipzig. But again, the rest of the stories will kind of, will confirm whether that's genuine or not. Fabrizio Romano said that Newcastle have made an official, to make an official bid, are waiting for Benjamin Sesko to see what the player wants to do. But Newcastle will go big on Benjamin Sesko. Let's see what Man United try to do on Sesko if they want to try for this one, or if they decide to move on to other targets. Then since then, we've had Florian Plettenberg, who's good when it comes specifically to Bundesliga news. Not so credible outside of that, I would suggest, but when it comes to German transfer news and stuff, he's normally fairly accurate, saying that Manchester United and Newcastle are currently in talks with Benjamin Sesko's management, so saying that we have started talking with Benjamin Sesko's agent. Both teams have presented their projects and financial offers. The decision now lies mainly with the player and his camp. Offers are expected to be formally submitted to RB Leipzig following the verbal agreement. However, Newcastle United pushing a lot. So Florian Plettenberg suggesting that, effectively reading between the lines, that Newcastle have made an approach for Benjamin Sesko and offered him the contract wages and, presented the project and all of that jazz. But also saying that United have now done the same thing, started talking with Benjamin Sesko's agent and maybe offering our salary structure and our project and trying to sell that. And then depending on who Sesko wants to join, in a similar way to where it was believed us and Arsenal were in for Gyökeres. Gyökeres chose that case to go to Arsenal. It sounds a bit similar with what's going on there regarding Benjamin Sesko, where United and Newcastle have both made offers to the player, so personal terms and stuff. And it's down to Sesko to decide, because if he says, yeah, I want to go to Newcastle, then we'll obviously not going to pursue him and start negotiations with RB Leipzig, and vice versa as well. Sky Sports Germany also said the same thing, that in addition to Newcastle United, Manchester United are also in negotiation with Benjamin Sesko's camp. Both clubs are negotiating with the players' representatives and are trying to reach a verbal agreement. The decision now lies with Sesko and his agents. RB Leipzig continue to value the total package at around £80 million. Give or take, so £80 million, total package. For Benjamin Sesko, that's about £67 million, around that sort of fee. Fabrizio Romano has said, though, for a special club, he's been mentioning figures between 70 to 80. If it's a special club, apparently it could be a little bit lower than that. Whether he would see Newcastle as a special club or United as a special club, that's entirely down to the player. So really interesting that Sky Sports Germany saying the same as Florian Plettenberg. However, Ben Jacobs is saying that Newcastle have told Leipzig they are prepared to pay over £60 million for Benjamin Sesko. No bid yet, as Newcastle are waiting to see whether Sesko agrees terms. Manchester United also have Sesko on their radars. And I literally just recorded a video, and in that video before this, I said I'd want to wait for a bit more credibility, and sod's law, Fabrizio Romano will upload a video at the time my video is uploading, and literally I finished pressing record, and Fabrizio Romano's just come out with an update confirming that actually those stories are true. Manchester United approached Benjamin Sesko's camp to ask for deal condition. Newcastle presented their project to him last week, ready to bid if he accepts, and that United have started to move for Sesko and have also begun concrete conversations after discussing him internally for weeks. So Fabrizio Romano has come out suggesting that actually, yes, we have started concrete talks with Benjamin Sesko. I think what he was saying is that we're asked for the deal conditions, i.e. what are Newcastle offering, or what wages, what salary demands will he have, what are the terms that he would want to, agree to come to United, and all of that stuff as well. So that's really interesting. Whether we're just getting the deals and we still are yet to make a decision on the striker situation, that's not entirely confirmed, because we could ask for the conditions of the deal and decide that it's not right for us and we want to walk away from that deal. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to pursue that deal, but, there's no smoke without fire. You don't ask for deal conditions if it's a player that you're not necessarily interested in going for or pursuing, whether we're just keeping our options open, we don't want to miss out, whether we're still working on other targets, who knows? But, there's no smoke without fire regarding Benjamin Sesko, and Romano is adamant that we're discussing him internally, but then also now suggesting that we have began talks, or at least made contact with his agents in the last few hours, or he said Sunday night, Monday morning, to present our project and our vision for the player as well. So that's really interesting. Give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Now, Sam C also said that Benjamin Sesko is open to a move to Manchester United despite no European football. So the fact we're not in Champions League, because obviously RB Leipzig aren't in Champions League as well, so makes no necessarily difference to him. But whether he would choose Champions League with Newcastle ahead of United, we don't know. But yeah, interesting. Like I said, no smoke without fire. Whether we're going to go for the deal, or whether we're going to get the player, whether we're just asking for conditions and the talks are being a little bit blown out of proportion, who knows? But you can ask for an agent for the conditions of a deal and then still not go for it, like we did with Ekitike. We made an inquiry with Frankfurt for Ekitike and then didn't really do anything after that deal. But he does seem like he's clearly a player of interest. I have concerns about Benjamin Sesko with his age and price. And that's only because we've had our fingers burnt before with Rasmus Højlund paying big money for an un-Premier League proven striker to come in and pinning all our hopes on that particular player. But on the flip side, the one thing that I have to take a step back on is the fact that we've got new management now. This is a different structure. It's Christopher Vivell, who is seen as one of the best transfer experts around. It's Jason Wilcox, who is apparently really good, got a good eye for players, and all of these things. It's a different management structure. And I do trust them more than what I would have the previous regime with John Murtough and Ed Woodward and Richard Arnold and all of those people who didn't really seem to have a clue what was going on with football and some of the transfer dealings and bits as well. Like, I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them, the previous regime. But actually, when you take a step back, or when I take a step back and I look at the transfers that we've made so far under Ineos, they've not been too bad. Delit's been a good signing, I think. Mazraoui is one of our best players last season. Ugarte divides opinion, I think, but in my opinion, I think he's a decent midfielder for what we needed at that time. We needed somebody to stop getting ran through in the midfield, or an aggressive, combative midfielder. I think he is at least that. Lenny Yoro's been an outstanding signing. Aiden Heaven, outstanding signing as well. The potential in those two is unreal. Even this transfer window, we've got Mateus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo. So actually, the transfer dealings that we've done so far under Ineos, there's been more hits than misses, if there is any misses. I think there's question marks around a few of the signings, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they've all been terrible. Even Xerxes, I forgot Xerxes there, had a bit of a dodgy start, but started to show real signs, and a majority of fans are now, clamouring for Xerxes to be in the team so we can see what he's about, and so even he turned his career around at United so far. Anyway, so far more hits than misses, I would say, in the transfer window. So you've got to it's about rebuilding that trust, because we've had because I've had my fingers burnt before with the Højlund deal. Doesn't necessarily mean that I shouldn't necessarily trust what Ineos are going to do and bring them in. I'd like to hope that if we do go for Sesko, he's well scouted, he's well researched, and they're aware that the pressure of coming to United and stuff. And to be fair, Christopher Vivell does know him, and in a similar way to when we went for Liam Delap, the worry was inexperienced. Is he ready to lead the line and stuff? But Jason Wilcox had a prior relationship with him as well. We know things about his personality and his character, and that's important, I think, as well. But again, we'll wait and see how it all plays out. Does feel like, maybe we have made had a conversation just to understand the concept of the deal. Doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna go any further with it. So I'd want to wait and see how it plays out. But no smoke without fire. Clearly, maybe there is something going on with Sesko, but again, whether United are just keeping their options open or not, we'll have to wait and see. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below, as I am sure that you will. Let's go through the rest of the transfer news. So if we don't go for or don't get Sesko, then one of the other striker options could be Muani. So Manchester United have joined the race to sign Paris Saint-Germain and France forward Randal Kolo Muani, 26, who remains a top priority for Juventus. Now, that came from Gazzetta dello Sport, and Italian media have not been very good this transfer window so far, so I would wait and see how that plays out. Take it with a pinch of salt for now. Muani is a player, though, that we have been linked with in the past. Whether we would go for him if all else fails, we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. But at the moment, I'd want to see a bit more credibility than the Gazzetta dello Sport. Although they are quite a large Italian media outlet, the Italian media has been poor at best so far this transfer window. So we'll wait and see how that one plays out. But give us your shouts on Muani in the comments. Now, another player we've been linked with is Morten Hjulmand. There's been a few outlets, not the most credible ones, suggesting that maybe there might be something in Hjulmand. So Manchester United have reportedly made their first move to sign Sporting midfielder Morten Hjulmand. More Italian media has reported that an offer worth 40 million euros for 34.8 million pounds has been submitted in hope of securing his services ahead of Juventus. Hjulmand has a release clause worth 80 million euros, so 69.6 million pound. Sporting is said to be open to offers around 50, so 43.5 million, but Hjulmand's entourage are keen to finalise an exit for between 30 and 40 million euros, so 26 to 34 million pounds. I read that in the Manchester Evening News. Again, coming from Italian sources, conveniently mentioning Juventus in there as well, but they were suggesting, going back to the original slide, that United have reportedly made their first move for Morten Hjulmand and have made an offer worth 40 million euros or 34.8 million pounds. Now, I would want to see way more credibility regarding that. Romano's just dropped a video and an update regarding Sesko, not mentioned anything regarding Morten Hjulmand, and I'm pretty sure if we made a bid, an Ornstein, a Romano, somebody of that nature would know that we've actually made a bid for Morten Hjulmand. Plus, we're in a position where we need to sell to buy, and we would need, not just one exit. I think we'd need a couple, because if we get an exit, I think we'll go for a striker. But then if we can sell Garnacho and Sancho, then I think that helps us with the goalkeeper in the midfield position as well. So again, just the same as the Muani links, I'd want to see a bit more credibility regarding Morten Hjulmand personally, rather than the Italian reports. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments. But more links with Donnarumma. Now, this is actually a fairly decent Italian outlet, Repubblica. They've got like 1 odd million subscribers, suggesting that Donnarumma is heading towards a departure from PSG. Manchester United, Manchester City, Galatasaray and Saudi clubs all want him. Chelsea also thinking about it too, of course they are. The Italians' renewal is at a standstill and PSG are closing in on Chevrolet. Now, Romano's also given an update saying that, PSG are, potentially interested in Chevrolet as well. And obviously with his contract situation, if he doesn't sign a new deal, maybe PSG would be more open to selling him because he'll be in the last year of his contract. And then United are getting linked alongside City and everything like that as well. But, City have just signed... They've just signed James Trafford back as well, so I don't know if they're going to then go for Donnarumma. I could see maybe Saudi clubs being interested in him as well. I checked it out, and he's on his £210,000 a week base salary, which includes bonuses. So if he hits his bonuses, £300,000 a week. That's according to Capology, who I use to source players' salaries and stuff as well. That is a massive amount of wedge for United. I don't think we'll go anywhere near that sort of deal, as we've seen with like the us walking away from Victor Osimhen and stuff. We don't want to do those sort of contracts. So he would have to take a significant pay cut to come to United, and if he's rejected or they can't get a deal done with PSG, what makes you think he's going to want to take a pay cut to necessarily come to United as well? So I can't see us moving for Donnarumma. The only way I could is if we sold Onana, because Onana's on about £120,000 a week with 80,000 bonuses. He's on around £200,000 a week if he meets all of his bonuses as well. And I can't see us being in a position where we have two number one goalkeepers, both on, extravagant wages, like £200,000 a week odd wages. If Donnarumma did take a pay cut for that amount, I don't think that's a healthy situation for United, because what happens then next year when we want to sell Onana, and then everyone knows that we were desperate to sell him, and then it drops his value, and we're back in the same position where we can't sell players. So I can't see us going for Donnarumma personally, but, there's an update. It's come from a very large Italian media outlet. So we'll pay attention to it and keep an eye on that one for you. If we sold Onana, then it might become a viable option. But yeah, give us your thoughts on that in the comments. On keepers, though, Graham Bailey said that Emi Martinez is of interest to Manchester United, and there was contact between the two clubs last week. The club is still yet to decide if they want Martinez or Lemens, but they are keeping contact with both of them. So that's probably more realistic. I think Emi Martinez, try to get him on loan, because we don't want two keepers on large wages on permanent contracts at United. So a loan for Martinez, we've tried. That's been rejected. Sending Lemens still feels like the more viable option because he's relatively cheap and could come in as a backup to Onana, and not going to command necessarily the extravagant wages for us as well while he develops and has the potential to take over from Onana. I still think Lemens is the one that's probably more viable, but we'll pay attention and see how it all plays out. And from one Martinez to another, just quickly, Laurie Whitworth said that Lisandro Martinez is on the tour, but the expectation is that he will miss the first 3 games of the Premier League at least. So that's not too bad. He's on that road to recovery, which is good. He'll obviously need time to settle in, and we'll wait and see how he comes back from his injury as well, because as we saw last time he was injured, he took a bit of time to get back to the rhythm of the Premier League and looked a little bit shaky in the first few games. Then he started to find his feet, started to perform really well, and we got the Martinez back of old, and then he got injured again. So unlucky. But yeah, it'd be good to get Martinez back. It's just nice that we can maybe take our time with him now with Aiden Heaven, who I think has looked good. In that position, we obviously got Mazraoui, Maguire, De Ligt. Like we are pretty stacked. Luke Shaw, dare I say, in that central back position. So it'll be nice if we can give him a bit of time to come back, because he might be he's going to be a bit ropey when he comes back. But that's good that he's on that road to recovery and not too far off by the sounds of things. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments. Now, a lot of the income, so the Sesko deal, going back to that. We know we've got to sell somebody to buy. Sell to buy is the situation. So there's been a lot of movement, or potentially, one of the players we could sell to generate some money is Kobbie Mainoo. I don't think we will, by the way. But Tottenham Hotspur have made contact over the potential signing of Manchester United midfielder Kobbie Mainoo, with his contract situation unresolved. Tottenham are moving on from Morgan Gibbs-White, who recently signed a new deal at Nottingham Forest despite interest from Spurs. The North London club love the versatility of Manchester United midfielder Mainoo, and they've made some informal inquiries about a potential move to see how difficult a deal will be. Tottenham hope Manchester United will be tempted to cash in on Mainoo at the right number, so they have been trying to work out what sort of fee it would take to prize him away. Now, that came from Give Me Sport. There was a report the other day, I think it was from Graham Bailey, suggesting that Tottenham would be interested in Kobbie Mainoo. There's another link here as well, so maybe he is of interest to Tottenham. And going off of that report, they've made an inquiry to find out what price Kobbie Mainoo might be available for, and obviously while he doesn't sign his contract, there's always a worry that we could have to sell him at some point in time. But going back to Ruben Amorim's comments around him, I don't think Ruben Amorim is in the mood to sell Kobbie Mainoo. I think he said himself he's got big plans for the player, so I can't see that happening. But if he doesn't sign his new contract, maybe next summer we'll be in a position where we need to. But I think Kobbie wants to understand his minutes and stuff and position in the team before committing to that new deal. That's the reading between the lines situation regarding that. But interesting that Tottenham might be interested in Mainoo. And obviously, if we did sell Mainoo, homegrown profit, massive amount of money, and then we could then potentially move on, to go and get Sesko or Hjulmand or Donnarumma, dare I say, although it'll be the wages with him that's the problem. But you get what I mean in terms of selling a player to buy, sell to buy. But But the more plausible player we're looking to sell is Antony. Well, we know we're looking to sell him, but the more plausible player that's going to leave is Antony. So Al-Nassr, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Jorge Jesus team are interested in signing Antony. Al-Nassr signalled a purchase offer for the player, but as competition from European teams, Manchester United have asked for £50 million. And that came from a good Brazilian news outlet suggesting that Al-Nassr have made a bid or have signalled their intent to make an offer for Antony, but United have asked for £50 million. So maybe they've made an inquiry on the asking price, and we've said, for you, £50 million. Interestingly, Santi said the same thing, that understand Al-Nassr have sent a bid to Manchester United for Antony. Al-Nassr want Antony and João Felix, which is interesting, because obviously they've just got a deal done with Chelsea for João Felix for around 50. I think it's like 20 up front and then 30 in add-ons, something of that nature. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. In the comments, Rudy Galetti said that Antony is the #1 target for Al-Nassr, and they made their first offer for him. Manchester United are standing firm on the price. Negotiations are underway. So there is more talk or more noise regarding Antony and a potential move to the Saudi Pro League. £50 million, that would actually give us not profit on his transfer on the price we paid it would give us profit from a PSR perspective as well, and that's something and then obviously his wages off the books as well. That's something that would help us fund a Sesko deal potentially, and then if you add Garnacho's exit and then Sancho's wages off the books, I don't think we're going to get much of a fee for Sancho. If anything, we're just going to write off his book value, but his wages will be huge for PSR, and then all of a sudden you've got the cash for the midfielder and the goalkeeper and so on and so forth. But yeah, they just need to get a move on, don't they? It's interesting that since Amram's comments, there's been a bit more noise regarding exits, specifically Antony as well, where he said, look, we're happy to take you back, but you're not going to play at the World Cup. Seems to maybe have triggered something in Antony. I just hope that it does the same for like the others that we're looking to sell as well. Sport have said that this is a credible Spanish outlet, saying that Manchester United rejected an offer of £20 million from Real Betis for 50% of Antony's economic rights. Were they just... Honestly, this deal's infuriating me with Real Betis, but maybe Antony knows that they don't have the money and they've not made a bid for him, so that's why he's exploring other options. Or maybe it's Antony's agent playing a game to say, look, we're going to go to the Saudi Pro League if you don't hurry up and make a bid. Maybe it's Antony's agent doing the right thing by putting that out there as well as a way to force Real Betis to come to the table with an offer. But €20 million plus 50%, like, yeah, I don't see that being viable. It doesn't even help us from a PSR perspective, I don't think, that deal. So we'll see how that one plays out. But Fabrizio Romano on Antony said that Al-Nassr are informed on Antony's situation at Manchester United. No official bid yet and nothing is advanced. Talks on early stages. Antony has many offers from Europe. Still didn't decide his future. So he needs to hurry up and get a move on, doesn't he? Because by the sounds of things, Antony has plenty of options and plenty of offers. And he seems to be waiting for Real Betis, who, according to that report, have offered £20 million and 50% of his image rights, or his sell-on, of his image rights, or his 50% of his future sales, or whatever that works out as. That's ridiculous, but yeah, it just infuriates me, the whole situation. But hopefully we can get some movement on that one as well. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. So Ben Jacobs coming out just at the time of recording this video that Manchester United should not be discounted in the race for Benjamin Sesko, even though Newcastle are pushing. A lot of internal support to formalise a move, but outgoings needed. Man United pitched to Sesko a year ago and are prepared to meet his terms. So Ben Jacobs getting involved now in the in the Benjamin Sesko, don't discount United for Sesko, even though United are pushing. Lots of support. Outgoings needed, though. That's the key thing I would take away. If we could get a budge on and get some movement on Antony, that then maybe gives us the money to go for Sesko, which is maybe why we're starting to ramp it up. Or maybe it's because Newcastle are pushing and we're trying to at least get a deal done in a similar way that we did with Mbeumo, to say, look, get personal terms agreed, get him to want to come to us and just say, well, okay, we'll hold on and we'll bid for you at the end once we've got some exits done. Maybe we're looking to do something like that with Sesko. But interesting. We'll see how it all plays out. Give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on all the other topics discussed in today's video, because that's you all up to date with the latest news and transfer updates. Smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. See you in the next one.